Welcome back to the Red Path. Today, we're going to do an in-depth look at one of the strongest units for World Eaters right now, Raptors. Before I dive into the video, I have to do that thing you're probably sick and tired of hearing about by this point. No, not Raid Shadow Legends, but the blood drive for the Blood God. At time of this video, I am proud to announce that we have so far raised $226.44 for the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders, which is absolutely amazing. I want more though, so please consider donating a little something before I have to hire Sarah McLachlan to cover Bolt Thrower. As an interesting side note, I decided to calculate how much blood had been donated in skulls. So I researched this, and it turns out the average human provides about half a litre each time they donate, and the average human skull has a liquid volume of about 1,316 millilitres, which means for every 3 blood donations, we essentially get a skull's worth of blood, for which Korn would be very pleased. I am really killing it with the science recently. Also, I had turned off my VPN for uploading purposes and forgot to re-engage it before making these Google searches. So, yeah, that's the thing. If this is my last video, well, it's been a wild ride, folks. One more super quick thing. If you are considering buying any World Eaters related kits, please consider checking my Amazon affiliate links below. Or hit me up if you're buying something else there. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but really supports the channel and helps me keep up with the content. Speaking of which, let's get on with that, shall we? The Raptor cults are a curious subset of the Heretic Astartes, having evolved as a faction somewhat separated from the mainline Marines. During the Heresy, Horus notoriously utilised the assault troops under his command in a very particular fashion. Reserving the bulk of all his jump pack equipped Astartes, he would wait for a weakness to show in enemy lines, and then commit to a huge assault with the lightning-fast assault troops. Over time, the repetition of this tactic, employing the assault specialists against already weakened foes ready to crumble, ingrained a sense of superiority and arrogance amongst the assault marines, and eventually, following the defeat at Terra and retreat into the Eye, these warriors began to suffer the warp's corruption, their armour reforming into something more predatory and avian, and in many cases merging fully with the inhabiting marine. As the millennia have passed, the raptorial cults have only elevated themselves to a higher pedestal, almost entirely detaching themselves from legion ties and allegiance to any Primarch or Master, loyal only to their particular cult and available only to fight alongside the most worthy of warbands. On the tabletop, the Raptors have the following profile. With a movement of 12 inches and fly, Raptors are an incredibly mobile unit, benefiting from the perks of the infantry keyword as well. They come with the standard stat line of any Marine, weapon skill and ballistic skill of 3+, strength and toughness of 4, currently 1 attack base and 1 wound each, the champion having an extra attack and an extra point of leadership. They have the ability to deep strike and negatively modify enemy leadership. They come equipped with chainsword and bolt pistol as stock at 75 points for 5 models. You can also pile on special weapons, whether melter, plasma or flamer, including a combi variant for the champion. In a World Eaters force, they are able to be targets of all the prime stratagems, Veterans of the Long War, Kill Main Burn, Stoke the Nails and so on. However, if we're looking at optimal playstyle, there's potentially a few ways to run them, with melter certainly being an option at the moment, though I would avoid this unless you have no other melter options. My preference is to run 2 or 3 squads, aiming for about 20 Raptors on the table, more if you really get the feel for them. Whether you split them into multiple small units or combine up to 15 in one squad, there's a very good reason that Raptors are the World Eaters' most efficient unit right now, at least competitively speaking. Given their nature as flying infantry, they benefit from 12 inches of movement, ignoring terrain during the movement phase, and can move through terrain with the breachable trait without penalty during the charge phase. By now, you should all know what I'm going to say next. Apoplectic Frenzy! Yep, It's so damn good on Raptors. A cheap unit that moves incredibly well and can hide easily, that can do some work in the combat phase, and with 9 inches of pre-game move can pretty much declare who owns the battlefield early on. Given the nature of 9th edition with smaller battlefields, more terrain, predetermined objectives that tend to force centre field combat for primary points, well, a mobile assault squad that can get a leg up on the opponent is worth its weight in gold right now. But what do I think will happen to Raptors with a 9th edition codex? Hopefully, not much. They're just such a solid unit right now. Their models are relatively new, their rules are strong for World Eaters, and they fill a gap we sorely need filled. Now, their unique ability to affect leadership definitely needs some work. Sure, debuffing morale is kind of their thing, but they need to make it something that can impact a game. Whilst morale feels like it makes more of a difference in 9th compared to 8th, it's still not something you have to worry about too often, especially in a marine meta. However, at their current points cost, the upgrade to -1 on chainswords and access to some killer strats from World Eaters, they are genuinely competitive. And if they stayed exactly the same, useless debuff and all, I'd be a very happy berserker. Okay folks, that wraps it up for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button. If you didn't, well, that's also cool. Hit the thumbs down. And as ever, stay healthy, stay safe, and kill main burn.